Hi, I'm Lloyd Princeton with Design Management Company. Today I'd like to speak with you about a very popular topic, and that is the size of projects. The same amount of work goes into a small project as does a large project. Now, it's not exactly the same amount of work, but planning, the design, the meetings, oftentimes the implementation, the showing up for appointments, whether you're having a contractor do one wall or an entire house, it doesn't take significantly longer. If you're ordering one room of furniture versus 5 rooms of furniture, it doesn't take significantly longer. And I have been hearing volumes of frustration from design professionals. They're saying, you know, I've taken on a very small project, I have lots of little projects, and I feel exhausted. I feel that too much of my time is being taken and I'm not making enough money, and if I only had larger projects to work on, I would make more money and probably not be working much harder. And I'm here to say you're probably right. It's a fair assumption, and it's something that can and needs to be addressed. And part of it has to do with, first of all, looking at the projects that come forward and understanding that you have control in the negotiation process, that if they say they have $20,000, they probably have 25. And if they really can't afford design services, then you may just need to acknowledge that fact and say you can't afford full service interior design. But you can afford one full day of shopping perhaps, but you can afford maybe some color chips and fabric swatches or something very basic that they can go ahead and complete and do it on their own. You can bill for a full day of your time at your normal rates and have no further obligation. So I do think that there needs to be some flexibility with your approach. Can't always be full service, but you can certainly be compensated for the reduced services you provide. And then when it is full service, you need to maximize it as much as you can and to be really candid about that which is realistic and not realistic. And that is one of the problems I've seen, and even some disputes that have recently arisen. You know, design professionals have gone ahead and taken deals in the hopes that they might grow without really painting an accurate picture of what it would take to complete a project. And once you're signed in, you're in. And that can be a problem. So you want to really be clear on the upfront. If it's going to take $100,000 to do something, then tell them it's going to take $100,000. Don't say it's going to be 75 or 50. You know, and don't assume you can work in phases, because the phase problem is a sticky wicket. If executed properly and you've been really clear how it might roll out and how it can happen, you might get away with it. But ultimately, I'm not seeing good things with that. You know, people want what they want and they want it right now. And if it can't be delivered, you're better off not taking it. So focusing on larger projects means mingling and being where those larger projects are. And it has to do with your personal network, which is probably still the #1 referral source. And it also has to deal with your personal brand, what you're putting forward when you market to people, when you do your social media, how your website looks, what kind of printed materials that you use, because printed materials are still important. At some point, you're going to meet in person. And when you sit down in person, the type of package that you put forward will convey volumes about the type of firm that you are. And maybe someone's willing to wait for you until they get more money. You never know what the options are until you explore them. But you have to set the bar for where you want to be, and you also need to raise your standards in terms of the types of clients and projects that you are going to work with. It's critical, and this is how you grow your firm, and this is how you reach out for more. You don't need to say no to the little projects, but you do need to configure them to a pricing structure that works for you and only sell the services that they can afford, and make sure that works with you and your personal brand. So if you have questions about that, this is something I'm delighted to have conversation with you about, and we'll look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.